Welcome to For Collectors.
Good evening, collectors. Welcome back to For Collectors. My name is Sammy Thunder. Tonight we are going to be hosting a fun video that I thought would be a fun concept. It is aesthetically pleasing cards that we're going to pick from pre-war all the way to the Golden Age. And I brought two guests on that I think will do a fantastic job at showcasing this. The fun, what makes this interesting and fun is that I asked them to pick one or two cards from each section or from each category and see if perhaps maybe they choose one from the same set. Hell, maybe even the same player. It's possible. So let me bring these guys on. We got Aaron from Value Vintage Cards and also, of course, Mr. President John Mangini, the Mangini Collection.
Hey, guys.
Hello. So everybody's aware, the categories that we're going to do are E cards. We're going to pick two, T cards, pick two, M cards, one, R cards, one, W cards, one, F cards, one, and then we're going to do from 1951 to 1959, pick one from each year. And maybe we'll see some overlap. Maybe we'll see the same player. That's going to be the fun thing. See if this happens, at least once. I figured this would be an opportunity since you guys have kind of gone back and forth.
I could probably guess the R card he's going to show, so I chose a different one. I was considering the one I think he's going to show.
But wouldn't it be great if the one that he went with was exactly the one that you end up going with?
Could be. We have a lot of the same tastes.
That's what I'm saying. So I think this will definitely be intriguing for those that watch. So why don't we kick it right off? Let's do the first E card. Aaron,
Go ahead, Aaron.
Go ahead. Which one did you pick?
Well, I'll go with the less traditional. This is one that I had to kind of research and make sure that this was in fair game. But
let me get you in there. 1 second.
All good.
Perfect. Okay. Oh, the Cracker Jack.
I love the image. So this is one I don't think many people would pick. Maybe the set they might pick, but I thought the old Eddie Cicotte, I thought that was just such a cool image of him with the Sox jersey and everything. So that's where I went. I think that's my second of the two for the E's. So that's where I went to start it off.
That's a good start. John, what about you, man?
All right, so my first one is the M101 Christy Mathewson. I think it's one of the greatest, most beautiful cards ever made.
Wow. Yeah, I remember Alex picked one up this year at the National.
Yeah, now this image is used on a few others, the Dockman and Sons. The E cards are essentially just the backs are different. They reused the image on many different brands.
Cool.
I'm happy to own any brand.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think cool. That's hard to argue that one at all. That's one you showed when we were doing the match game, I think, and I said I didn't have at the time.
Do you have it now?
You may have been a bad influence on me. I may have had to go doing a little bit of research. So I don't have quite the match, but it's pretty gosh darn close. Yeah, I went E92. Just
hold on, let me.
We have an overlap right off the bat here.
This is the one I knew because when I got this, I didn't have anything to say I got it. But yeah, this was one that I knew you would pick because I know you appreciate that one so much.
I guess you could technically call it an overlap, even though it wasn't shown in the same round. Or yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, we're same set. So mine's actually got this glorious little pinhole. So I feel like it's actually a really nice looking card. Yeah. So many of these were like so eaten up, and when I saw that one, I was like, that thing's fabulous. So
it's amazing they lasted all these years in the condition they have. It just blows my mind. That Eddie Cicotte you showed, years ago, I won that on an auction in a 5. And at the time, cards weren't selling for like they are now. And it wasn't a card I particularly loved so much. And I could get a fortune for it at the time. And so I sold it because I sold it for several $100s more than I paid. And I bought some cards that I wanted more.
Yeah.
I kind of regret I regret every card I ever sold in my life. So I do regret it because I never got another copy. Oftentimes I'll get another copy, maybe a lower number that looks better to me or whatever, but
yeah,
I never replaced that one.
Yeah, that's one I recently picked up, and I loved it. The jersey.
I know you showing it made me a little depressed. So
what's your
here to do? Influence each other.
What's your second e-card, John?
My second e-card is 1910 Standard Caramel E93, and it's a beautiful one. It is Rube Waddell.
I knew it.
What is it? Is it like the different color schemes to it that really that you appreciate about it?
I think this is the only color for this one. Aaron, is it? I've never seen one in another color.
Yeah, I think for me, and I think most people, it's just the simplicity and it's the way it strikes. It's the deep green. I think any of those in that era, deep green, the green cob, all those are just great cards.
The images are just like little paintings to me, and the e-cards are my favorite of all the early baseball cards, and the boxing cards too. They're fantastic.
That is a stunning one.
Yeah. He's holding that ball there.
Also,
and this is not an easy card to find without all kind of creases and flaws. I looked so long before I found one that was presentable like this.
Yeah. I should have pulled one.
So we'll move on to T cards. This should be fun. T cards. So Aaron, what's your T card?
Tea time. Well, I feel like we're match gaming it just real time. This is fun.
We should do that sometime.
I know. My God. We just need to hit pause and be like 30 seconds. Go. All right.
Yeah.
Find it. I'll stick green.
Oh, yeah, the cob.
I think it's so classic. It's somewhat new to me.
Beautiful.
I think I had one back in the day, and at some point we had to move on from it for just more so lifestyle reasons. And so when I could reacquire this, I was like, yeah. And I think the same as the Rube Waddell, the green is just so striking that it just creates such an offset against the image of the person and their jersey and everything else. So yeah, I'll go classic.
That's a great pick. All right, let me see. We got to get John. All right, I don't know why it's being fidgety.
Okay, so my first T card.
Here we go.
Is one of my favorite all-time cards. Just a classic, and it's the T212 Home Run Baker.
Oh no. So share a little bit. Why is it one of your all-time favorites?
I don't know. It's like, why do I love my wife? I mean, look at it. You don't see these every day. They don't come available all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful card. Again, it's like a painting. And I always had a fascination with Home Run Baker.
So I will say, as far as presentation goes, it looks phenomenal. Does the centering of it help? Because it does look really nicely centered.
Yeah, I don't know why this number's on it, to be honest with you. It really, it's so much nicer than that. I can't find any major thing wrong with it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, I was saying, like, the fact that it's just beautifully presented and just,
I like that set a lot because it's so big.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's
really...
Yeah, they're not easy to find. I mean, you can find T206s all day long, but you can't find these all day long.
True story.
All right, Aaron, what's your next T card?
Right. Well, I'm sticking standard stuff here. I went from T206 to T205. and part of it is it's a player that I collect pretty heavily, so I think I'm a little biased towards his stuff. But the T206 portrait is definitely classic, but I like the T205 set so much. And for me, like a T205 that looks sharp is, even something higher grade than this even would be sharper with the edges. Not that the grade matters, but in terms of the colors, the borders, when they're in a little bit nicer, more pristine condition, they do really pop. But for Walter Johnson, I just thought that was such a. Sorry, I'm getting glare like crazy.
Yeah, it's good.
I just think the image of him, the little design around the card. I always love how they have something for the team, and catcher's mask.
Of like the two bats on the baseline of the diamond.
Yeah,
that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I love that design. So I went kind of standard with my tobaccos.
All right, John, what's your?
I did, and then I switched. I had a T206 and T205 up here.
You put mulligans while we're doing this?
But we can't show more than two. So I'm going with the Ramley. It's just a beautiful set. This is Chief Bender.
Oh man,
the Ramleys are beautiful cards, and they're kind of embossed. They're not flat.
The pattern around.
No one knows that because we only collect slabs, so you can't tell. But these things are embossed, and they have the gold. Just beautiful cards. Again, not cards you see every day.
Yeah. Very true.
Is it?
I love Chief Bender because he drank so much. They actually put a non-drinking clause in his contract.
Does the back of the card, the pattern on the front, does it kind of like with the paper stock? Does it kind of lift on the back? Because it looks like
it kind of lifts on the front. I don't know.
On the front, okay.
The camera's probably not going to pick up the nuance.
No, I was able to see it. You could sort of see it kind of pressed.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's a really cool touch. All right, guys. Good first two rounds. Move on to the M cards.
M's. All right. Another somewhat recent. I feel like I went standard on a lot of these things, so I didn't go super exotic, but I went M116.
I could have shown that one too. I could have shown your Walter Johnson too. I'm surprised we didn't pick the same.
If I had Walter Johnson, I would have picked that hands down. I'm done. That's what I'm hunting for. I want that Walter Johnson so badly. But Cy Young, I will take as my consolation prize. I think similar reasons. The color is a little less exotic and fun as some of the other ones, but just it's almost like the simplicity instead of the cool colors. I think it's just such a neat image of them.
Is it the striking pose that he's in, kind of just very stoic looking?
It is, and it's kind of like that idea of hat no hat.
Yeah,
we're seeing baseball players with hats on, seeing them just like lining up for photo days.
That set is like a portrait lover's dream. That set, just all portraits.
Yeah, it's good.
Kind of like the E107s.
Yeah.
Cool.
But much easier.
What's your M card?
Okay, this is a very special card to me because I had always wanted a player of this guy. I've always been fascinated with him. And this was the first one of him that I got. I have many now, but this is the 1915 M101 Buck Weaver.
Wow.
I'm trying to get away from that glare there.
No, it's good. That's good. Wow, there you go. That's perfect. Oh, you had it. Can't stay. So M101 Sport News, Buck Weaver. So can you share a little bit about where that car, like where it comes from as far as its origin, or is it a clipping or not a clipping, but
this is a famous in bar advertisement on the back.
Cool. Okay. Very cool.
These 101, these are Sporting News, so they were given out with the newspaper.
Gotcha.
and they would promote different things on the back. You know, similar to the Cy Young that Aaron just showed. Those were inserted in newspapers. I have an original envelope. They came in a brown envelope, and they inserted them in their publication back in the day.
Okay, cool.
Crazy cool.
Cool, guys.
Yeah.
Moving on to the R cards.
Well, I feel pressured now. John thinks he knows what I'm going to pick, but I don't know that I picked what you think I'm going to pick.
I'm curious. I would have bet money you're going to show what I think. Anyway, go ahead.
It's in my hand. Who'd you think it was going to be? What player?
Hold it up for me to see.
Oh,
I mean, not the whole thing. The back, they're blank.
Well, yeah.
Okay, then you can turn it around. I thought you would pick, and we both have one, and we both cherish it, the Connie Mack Lefty Grove.
I didn't grab honorable mentions, but I have it sitting right here. That's hilarious. That was literally the stress of deciding at the last minute. I went with Lou. I needed
Oh, nice.
For the love of the oversized, for the love of the just who Lou Gehrig is and was, but just the image. That's one of those when you get into the really fine details, looking at the first base bag and what's in the background and his uniform, and these are so big you can see their shoes and the detail. And to me, that's what I love these Butterfingers.
That one, I'm working on that set. I have like the biggest ones, but I work on a little bit at a time. I always had a fascination with those since I discovered them. Yeah. But that Lou Gehrig, it's a unique pose, and I don't know, the more as time goes on, I really appreciate those large ones, the large cards and premium so much more. I mean, I always have to some extent, but you get a nice full photograph,
Yeah, I think as my vision gets worse too, I like the bigger ones because I can see the details better.
Okay, so I went with the 1936 R312. And I love this for the history of it mostly. It's Honus Wagner and Archie Vaughan. So you have the greatest shortstop to ever live, who is now a manager and coaching, the up-and-coming Hall of Famer.
He really was players adored him, Honus Wagner, for being such a good teammate and such a good mentor for a lot of players.
Yeah, and I clearly didn't watch him play, but from all accounts, I mean, he could do it all. He was a well-rounded player.
Yeah.
Many of the old-time players, call him the best back then.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're moving on to W cards now. So Aaron, go ahead, man.
WWW. All right. So I went with a W517. I've been really partial to this set too. So depending on how they want to slab it, if it's slabbed, sometimes it looks super oversized. Sometimes it looks somewhat standard, which is insane. But I'll take some Jimmy Fox.
Yeah.
Another great oversized set.
Yeah, this and Cashin I've been really paying attention to lately.
Cashin's another set I am working on. Love those.
Yeah, super cool. But I just love Jimmy.
I have
Fox.
one coming. I think I sent it to you, Aaron.
Cashin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I might not have sent you that one.
Maybe you didn't. We'll have to double check.
I have one on the way. Another one. I love that set.
Yeah, both of those. W517, is that on your list, John? Are you collecting that set?
Yes, but I don't have anywhere near a set like I do with Cashin or Butterfinger.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with my man Honus Wagner, and this is a rare set. I think the last time I checked it, it was like a pop of 16 or something. This is a W555. And I call them 1910. They've always been mislabeled. And I'm going to go opposite the big cards and go with a smaller one. And These are blank bag. They were on the side of a box of candies.
Hmm.
And
That's
they
pretty
came with multiple players, and you would cut them out. But they're very scarce.
I knew Transagram was inspired by something. It's like the side panels of the Transagrams. Or
Yeah, those aren't cards, man. It bothers me that PSA grades them. You might as well just have a picture off of a magazine.
all right, guys, we'll move on to some F cards. So I'm going to bring it to Aaron.
All right. F. All right. So I went Dixie. I don't know if that's going to be, I think I had an oversized option. And actually, I guess I shouldn't have gone back to back. You went double Honus. I went double Jimmy.
I try not to do that, but sometimes I can't resist.
Yeah, same way. I mean, there's a few of these. I could have gone Bronco Nagurski, which would have been kind of fun, but that, I don't know. Every time it shows me it's not baseball, somebody like unsubscribes. It's kind of crazy. But
Viewers are fickle.
it's a fun reality of my world, I guess. But yeah, I think as much as for these, I mean, talking about like the obscurities of things, the fronts are amazing artwork, but the back to me is just as interesting. I almost want to delay it, display it backwards. 4 images and that cool write-up.
Yeah, for sure.
The write-up is and the action shots. I love them.
You have a lot of those, don't you, Aaron?
I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm kind of accidentally getting a few of these along the way, so we're getting there. Yeah. You've got a few in your collection, I'm sure.
I have 2. I have the Bob Feller and Ducky Medwick. That Bob Feller's so cool.
That is really cool.
Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah,
he's standing there.
I think it's
His
hilarious.
sleeves rolled up.
We have the opposites. I have Fox. I have Hubble. Like, if we
put our collections together, it'd be quite amazing.
It's like a transformer building into something bigger than it used to be. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, so I went with a cool card with a little bit of a cool story, I guess, and a scarce card. 1916 Tango Eggs. And this is another Buck Weaver. However, anybody who collects E-cards will notice that the image is the same image used on Joe Tinker E-cards. So it's Buck Weaver with, I mean, they're kind of a generic image, but I have to believe that this is Joe Tinker there.
That's amazing.
But these cards are beautiful.
Yeah.
And these are some of the old cards that you could still find in really high grade. These are pretty easy to find in really sharp condition.
Are you saying like even though?
And I'm sure it's because you could send in for them because they didn't put them in the eggs.
Are you saying like so? Despite it being, you're saying it's tough though that they're tough to find.
Yeah, they're rare, but when you find them, they're usually in pretty nice condition. Like 5, 6, 7 is not unheard of at all.
Cool.
Unlike a lot of the other ones.
So we're gonna fast forward a little bit now. Just we're gonna move into the 50s. So we'll start with 51, which obviously is a big year in baseball. So Aaron, go ahead and start it off.
So this is where I think we had a different interpretation of what we're going to be doing. So
we'll see what happens.
Why was 51 a big year in baseball? What happened?
Phil Rizzuto was the MVP. And Willie Mays was the Rookie of the Year.
It was certainly a big year in card collecting.
Well, shockingly, I did not pick a Rizzuto, which is maybe disappointing to some, but I went with this, and I picked this one as my collection version, better than most. Even though this would grade horribly because of how it was cut. Most of them are cut where the bottom is not included, from what I've seen at least. They kind of just have it as a border. For me, I love seeing that Champions Choose Wheaties at the very bottom. So
I'm with you on that.
I think it's just a little bit extra neat. Kind of tops out regular old top loader, but I picked that over the premium just because I think that's one you don't see every day, and I thought that was cool, and it's a Musial, so we'll take that.
Cool.
Well, I knew you were going to show that, so I chose a different card. I picked that up at the National this year. I think I was on my way out, and I just happened to glance over and see it. And I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Made a good price on it. I went with just a beautiful baseball card that I just love, and that's 51 Bowman Ted Williams.
Oh man, that's a stunning piece. That is, yeah. Doesn't get better than that. Yeah, John
Just
does
a beautiful card.
I don't know if you noticed, Aaron, but John does a thing where he will show a card and then wait like 5 or 10 seconds before he says anything.
You got to appreciate the card, man. Nobody wants to look at me.
I know. I brought it up to you at the National, and at first I thought it was something you just do subconsciously, but you mentioned that you do it purposely, and you said that no one's really ever mentioned it to you.
No, you were the first one, but let me tell you why I started doing it, because when I first got on YouTube, I would just pull out like all my DeLongs and go bam, 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 show them. Pull out all my tattoo overs, bam, 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 show them. T205s, bam, 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 sit on the floor. And Dave Blue Jacket 66, he's like, "You need to slow down. You show those too quickly. I'd rather look at one nice card for 10 minutes than, 10 cards for 1 second." So
You hear that?
Wow,
Cool. Man.
that's good feedback. Yeah, I did have somebody once say like they were trying to like jot down what I was doing, I guess. And they said, "You forgot to say what the one was." I'm like, "Good Lord, okay, card 12." Let me go back in the comments and know what that one was. But that's impressive, and like it's very flattering that somebody would care enough about what you're saying, because at the end of the day, I'm just showing some silly stuff that I've collected, and I think it's fun. So
yeah, and on video, a lot of people flash them and they're right off. It's not like a photo that you can zoom in on, look as long as you want. So I just try to give everybody a good look up at it.
yeah, I like that.
Cool.
Very cool.
All right, Aaron, 1952, friend.
52. I went back to standard. I think for me, this is one of the most important sets, and obviously one of the most important players. So I figured I'd break out Jackie.
Can't go wrong with that one.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
we'll keep it classic, keep it timeless, and that's really the big start for Topps, and obviously the first Jackie alone Topps card. I guess it's fair to say, right? Is that the proper way to disclose that one? So we'll go with that. I was going to be careful because I know there's people smarter than me out there that are listening. They're like, well, actually, there's a 51 Topps team card. So yeah, potentially found other places. But yeah, that's what I would go for 52.
Cool.
This is the only rookie card I went with in out of all of these, and I just think it's a beautiful card, and it's the Cuban Comet, Minnie Minoso, Bowman. I love his 52 Topps too, but
this one is there's something like profile shots are great, but the action shots with the Bowman kind of just something about it.
yeah, I mean, I could have picked so many from this set.
Oh, no.
or the top set, but this is a special card to me.
Very cool.
And that's all that matters, right?
Exactly. All right, 1953.
All right, 53. One that I think a lot of folks might
Yeah.
go Stallmeyer.
It's got the hot dog juice on it.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, they're about as funky and crazy as they get. Yeah. But
That's a good looking one, though.
it is. That's one of those. I feel like, within the realm of they're going to be beaten up, you find one that's beaten up in the ways you can still enjoy. And for me, that was still solid. That image is just so amazing. I love seeing that 4 or 5 times throughout the Campanella run. So
Yeah.
definitely take that one. That's one of the few Stonemeyers.
Yeah, 53. It's a great set.
I do.
Okay, this isn't the one I selected, but I'm going to play match game with you real quick because it was within arm's length.
Love it.
All right, for me, this is a 1953-54, but I'm going to count it as my 53.
Okay.
And that this is a rare card. This is a 53-54 Briggs Meat.
Mm.
Willie Mays.
Oh, man.
Oh, good Lord.
That's so cool.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful copy too.
Yeah.
You know, these were in with the hot dog, so there's some of them are, well, like the Stallmeyer. Not easy to find this clean.
Remind me, is there anything on the back, or is it just plain
They're
back?
blank back.
Blank backs. Okay.
Yeah, you could see like very faint
Hot dog?
some hot dog lines.
Fantastic. That's a good. Both good picks. Can't be. I mean, you're going with hot dogs, so that's perfect. All right, so
Well, so you know, the hot dogs are among the rarest cards in the hobby. All of them.
Let's go with 54.
54. I think you said pick hot dogs for the early 50s, right? So
what is it about hot dogs?
We'll keep it 54. And I would have possibly gone Campanella, except I just had Campanella, and I'm already stuttering with Jimmy Fox, so I figured I'd go with a different player, but I don't think anyone would argue Ted being it. Ted's a good choice.
It's
so, yeah, they're clean and everything too. So I mean, it's
definitely has I'm not going to say modern touch in terms of like today, but just like a futuristic touch to it about with the hot dog, like etching the hot dog company, like the actual hot dogs on there.
Oh boy.
What do you have, John?
Well, this is the first time we picked the same card, so I'm going to have to go to the bench.
No, you can't. You have to keep it honest.
I have to go to the bench, man.
I mean, I'm
gonna have to pick it. Do I get another one? It's no fun to look at two of the same card, Sam.
Of course it is. Of course it is. No two cards.
Let's show the 54 Ted Williams Bowman.
So now you're just breaking rules. Now you really are a president.
Don't worry. I found a way to get extra cards in.
You found
they're coming up.
It's very presidential. All right, cool guys.
I was gonna beg for like a wild card round or something, because there's a few on here that just don't fit anywhere. I was Googling, like, is there anyone that qualifies this in a certain group? I'm like, no.
We'll go with all right, 55.
All right, 50. Well, this one John probably knows what I'm picking here too, is my guess. This thing was on my list.
Oh man, that's cool.
I did know you were going to pick one of those or all of them, so I didn't pick any. Okay. I knew you were going to show those. Absolutely.
This one is 1,000% my favorite Stan Musial in that set for sure. Maybe
it's my favorite in that set too.
Yeah,
I love that card.
That pose is amazing. I don't know. It's tough if I like any of the other ones any better.
It's funny, years ago when I first got on YouTube, I showed that set and I got all these comments. No one had ever seen it or heard of it. And now when you go onto YouTube, everybody's showing those cards all of a sudden. the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah. There's one set that I'm going to show that I was waiting until I got a couple of big ones. Not that anyone cares what I think, but I was just like, I can only imagine I need one more person to compete with me to buy it. And I'll never get the darn card. So now that I got it, I'm going to show it and gladly say everyone else should go try and find one, because now I've got it.
You're showing it today?
No, it doesn't qualify. It's not one of the letters or years picked. So
well, after we stop recording, just show it to me.
Okay.
Before you go public.
I'll text you if I haven't sent it to you
yet. All right, what are we on? 55?
55, yeah.
All right, I'm going to go with another scarce meat issue. When I was growing up, this was known to be a rare card, and this was one of the hot cards in the hobby. I never see anybody talk about it anymore, but it is the 1955 Rodeo Meets.
Yeah.
And I think the two biggest players are Bobby Shantz and Johnny Sane. There's probably another one or two, but anyway, the Bobby Shantz was always the one sought after.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah. The contrast in colors between the blue and the rodeo and then the red in the back.
Yeah, I would always call it Rodeo. Sounded
Rodeo.
fancier.
Rodeo Meets.
Is there only one Hall of Famer in that set?
Yep. I think 55. I think is there a Vic Power in that set?
Could be.
Oh man, now I need to look because I need that card if there is. I have this in the Johnny Sane.
Okay.
There's one other big one. I think it's Vic Power. And people might say, well, that's not big, but Vic Power, he's the last guy to steal home twice in the same game, and he won 7 straight Gold Gloves at first base. He's an underappreciated player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. So,
and Enos Slaughter is the one Hall of Famer, right?
In this?
All right. Are we on
56?
56. I went classic. I couldn't come up with anything too exotic and fun. I have a runner-up that I didn't pick, but I figured I'll go classic. I need a Mantle in the mix, so I think for Mantle cards, that's about as good as they get. Can't go wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Somebody back in 1956 folded that in half, put it in their pocket, went and played baseball, and then unwrapped it and sent it to SGC. So I will take it.
Nice.
Clean image.
That's a one Mantle card I have in my collection. So
it's a good one.
Yeah. Literally, it's a 1. So. All right, John.
All right, I'm going to go with one of my childhood cards that I bought at my flea market I used to walk to on Sundays with my neighbor, and that's where I used to get my vintage cards. In the early 2000s, I had it graded, but it's just a beautiful card. I love it. Has a lot of sentimental value, and that is the 56 Topps Ted Williams.
Wow. A 7.
That's nice.
Not that it matters, but
No, I was surprised because it was from my childhood collection that I kept it in that graded shape. But actually, all my cards from back then, many of them graded very high. They weren't trimmed. They weren't fake. And this is how I squeezed 2 in. This is the gray back, and I later bought the white back because I love it so much.
yeah,
And this was one of the nicest copies I've ever seen.
you're not kidding.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So,
So
you got this.
I couldn't pass it up. For my 56 set, I try to get both backs if I can.
We got some overlap there, same set, but I guess once you get into the later years, it comes a little more predictable, I suppose. 57.
I think we'll go. I'll stick unpredictable. I think. I don't think this one will be. I'm going to guess this doesn't match. 58, we might. 59, we probably could, but we won't. This one I am super fascinated with since I just picked this up, and this is a deal with a collector that is into the most kind of unique and interesting pieces, just like we are. So I thought this was a really cool one.
What's the name of the set?
It's just a 57 team postcard. They just call it 1957 Cincinnati Reds.
I love
Team
how
issue
it says Frankie Robinson.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Yeah,
That's the coolest part. That's one of the coolest parts.
yeah. For me, name variations, and then obviously he's super youthful and kind of choking up on the bat, so
Yeah.
has a little bit of a feel, and it is a legit postcard back. So
Cool, man. That's super cool.
yeah, there's not a lot of them. I think there's 2 on eBay right now if you want to go snag one, but they're not affordable for whatever reason. So
I have a funny Frank Robinson story. So Branch Rickey, he was the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates at the time when Frank was coming up, and he knew about him and was high on him. And he called the owner of the Cincinnati Reds, and he said he wanted to trade for him. And the owner of the Reds told him, "I wouldn't trade Frank Robinson for your entire team."
He knew something.
Yeah. A great player, still underappreciated after all this time. First black manager on top of that, so he's historic. But what a great player!
Yeah.
It's just with Aaron and Mays and Clemente and Mantle, he just didn't have the limelight that those guys did. But his numbers are every bit as good as everybody else's, really.
I see people compare him to Mantle in terms of numbers. I've seen it done. I've seen a lot of people compare him before, so it's interesting to see the dynamics.
Yeah, it's always amazed me how inexpensive his cards are, especially if you get into the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
And he had cards through 75.
Oh, they become almost like $1 a piece or $2, especially when you get into the late 70s or mid 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. And
his 72 traded is just a classic because it shows him with the Dodgers. He only played for them. Was it a whole season? It was a short 1 year, but I don't know if it was even a whole season. Do you, Aaron or Sammy?
I was thinking partial maybe, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's just so odd to see him in a Dodger uniform. I had to get one of those babies.
Yeah.
All right, John, so we're on 57.
57, I'm going traditional and just a classic, beautiful baseball card. That is the Topps Yankees Power Hitters with Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
Two greats right there.
Yeah.
That is a great card.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites for sure.
We're getting a lot of Yankee love in towards the end of it. So cool, man. 57 in the bag. Let's go 58.
58. I went with one that I don't think I've shown anywhere. I was trying to find some fun, unique things. Somebody sent me a text and I mentioned that I had this one. He's like, "You do? I've never seen that." So I haven't shown everything just yet. And I think
I approve.
Yeah. Anything Hires is super cool.
But I didn't know you had one.
That's the common response.
You're very surprising.
Yeah. You gotta have something to surprise folks, something to make it interesting, right?
Exactly.
The 58 test is very, very cool.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. One of my favorite Maze cards.
I was so excited to get that card.
These darn things have exploded.
Yeah. They have.
Yeah. Talk about the colors popping.
Exactly.
I have the regular version with the tab too. That's another great one.
Yep. Yeah. You and Orlando picked his up this year.
Yeah, it's nice to have both. But I was always fascinated with those tests because I saw them in a book when I was a kid, and they showed that Willie and Vern Law are the ones they showed in the book. So, they were targets of mine when I got older. So I picked them both up.
What's your 58?
Okay, so I found another way to show two cards. I was going to go with the Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, 58 Topps, because that's one of my favorite all-time cards. But this is also one of my favorites. They did an episode of Heart to Heart years ago, and it was about baseball cards, and a guy, this couple was stealing them, and Mr. Hart had to go win them back flipping. And there was a big suitcase filled with vintage baseball cards, and this was one that always stuck out to me, and I wanted it ever since that episode in 1982. And that's a Topps 58 Hank Aaron. But, there's the yellow name version.
Yeah, you have both variations.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I've seen some people try to mention that there's also a color variation, how they turn, like some are blue or some are green. But I don't I mean, whenever I hear people talk about that, they always say, "Oh, it's because it's been like sitting in the sun and it's faded or something like that."
Well, some of it can be fading, but others can be it was a low ink.
Yeah.
That happens throughout when you get when the ink's running out at the end of the run.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little duller. I have a Joe Namath like that. That's just a tad bit duller. That's just really the ink. It's not a variation.
Right.
Usually,
That's
I mean, when you get into the 49 leaf, there's all kind of different color variations.
Yeah.
That just has to do with the printing. I don't believe it was intentional.
Gotcha.
I think back then they used whatever ink they had available to them.
All right, so we're going to finish off in the 59.
Yeah. And I think I could have matched. Well, depends. I don't know. John may or may not show what I'm thinking. So, but I'm going to go with one that I don't think he'll show, and you might be able to guess what it is. But I will go Yoo-Hoo. To me,
Nice.
that's as cool as it gets. 59 Yoo-Hoo Yogi.
Very scarce.
Yeah, I put this on my list and I saw like zero even opportunity. There wasn't even like a overpriced buy it now or anything. And then it popped up as the whole set at auction. And I was like, all right, I mean, I don't want to be completely stupid, but I put in a bit of a close to stupid bid and it went very reasonably. So I was thrilled that wasn't on my list for years. It was on the list for months, but yeah, I think
so. You have the whole set?
I do.
Yeah, that Yogi you do not see often. There's a mantle in there, right?
No. Yes and no. So everything I've seen says the whole set is not mantle, but there is mantles. I can't figure out.
I mean, that's an interesting thing that you bring up because I never thought mantle was in that set until like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I saw one and I was like, mantle's not in this set.
Right.
So did somebody print this after the fact or was this a salesman's sample? Do you know anything about that?
I know I can't afford it, so I kind of stopped researching it because I think it's Lamborghini prices more than it's,
Well, that's just interesting because I never thought there was a mantle in that set either.
Yeah. I mean,
like I said, like a month ago, I saw one and
yeah,
I can't even remember. I don't think it was graded. So I don't know.
That's one. I know we're definitely, grading is what grading is, but I'd be scared to death of trying to figure out what that is. I want someone else to have some liability if I were to pay that much money for a card,
or it was just short printed and super so rare people didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been the chase to complete your set.
Yeah.
Now, were those limited in their distribution? Because aside from the Gil McDougall, you just don't see them. You'll see some Whitey Fords, but
yeah,
and some Tony Kubeks, but Yogi, I mean, you just never see that one.
Well, I think those and then Moose Scourin, and you're kind of done. So I'm not sure that. I don't know if Yogi was just extra scarce or if he's the one that people decide to hold on to. I have two Whitey Fords. I mean, if that's still on your list, we can.
Well, if the mantle isn't legit, maybe the Yogi was the chase card. I don't know. We need to dig into that. We need to investigate.
Yeah.
I mean, with the popularity of mantle, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody made that up because they know they can make big bank on it.
Right. Executive order. We got to research it now. I think.
That'll be part 2. All right, John. So your 59 card.
I'm just picking this for sentimental reasons and because I just think it's a beautiful baseball card. I still remember when I was a kid at my local flea market seeing this, and I had to walk away from it because it was $7. And that was a lot of money for a card at the time, but because he's so popular in Pittsburgh, and that's where I was, it was probably a little elevated, right? If it was in another city, it would have probably been $3. But anyway, I went back when I did have the $7 and I bought it. And Bill Mazeroski.
Oh, hell of a card.
And that's the actual one?
No, I actually got another one.
Okay.
I do still have the one I bought. It's real nice too. I just grabbed this one when I was in my box.
I was going to say.
I have a near set of. I have all these near sets, so I go digging until I find something. This was the first one I found.
Love it.
Incredible. Well, I will let you guys pick one wild card that didn't make the cut, if you guys want to show it, and then we'll finish off there. If you guys have an honorable mention, by all means. If not, no big deal. But I know, Aaron, you said you had one as an honorable mention, but if it has to be one card in particular, from
Does
any,
it have to be one of those letters?
it could be whatever you want, whatever
Okay,
your
cool.
desires. It could be really any card, honestly.
All right, cool.
Aaron, you ready?
All right. Yeah, I'll. I sent you the other one in text. So this one I've shown before, but I pull it whenever you say favorite cards because this was one that I saw it and I didn't think there was any chance that I would be able to actually acquire it, and I did. And for me, that would be my Ty Cobb Grail if we're going to use a one-time only. I don't think I'll ever be able to acquire a Cracker Jack necessarily, but to me, 1907 to 09 H.M. Taylor, it is a postcard back. But
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. I mean, talk about best looking cards ever.
How long have you had that?
Weeks, maybe months, definitely not years. Yeah, that was a somewhat recent auction.
Great pickup.
Thank you. Yeah, I bid aggressively and was very happy it didn't quite go all the way to where I was willing. But yeah, that's one you just don't see enough of. So I jumped. So thank you.
All right, John, what's your honorable mention?
I'm going to show this 1926 Spalding Champions. Babe Ruth.
That's cool. And
Now,
then
this set was unknown until 1990. They had a find of them. And then a few years later, they had another find. And they really didn't know too much about these. But they were turned in to Spalding for a coupon, 10 cents. And you could buy sporting goods if you turned the cards in. And that's probably why they're so rare.
I think you can probably buy Spalding, Spalding the entire company out with that one card.
Yeah, they had different backs. There's different backs. One of them's pretty rare.
Yeah.
But the card itself is very scarce. There's not a whole lot of them. I'm not much of a back guy, so
yeah.
I don't know that much about them. I don't pay that much attention. I'm just thrilled to have any version.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a great card.
What does the back of that look like? It says stats back.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's really cool. That's a lot of effort and detail to go into something that there's
Yeah, it is.
Of probably.
Yeah, very cool card.
Cool.
It's funny when I bought this, you just didn't see any sales, right? And I had subscribed to this daily newsletter on cards, and they did a story on this card, and they said they went back and they could only find one sale in recent years, and it was mine, and they quoted what I paid for it and everything. I'm like, that's what I bought. I thought that was cool. That was the first and only time I've ever been the one guy that they're quoting in these auction prices.
Yeah, you set the market. That's cool.
All right, guys. Well, this has been definitely intriguing. A lot of fun to kind of see the variance of different cards represented from different sets. So I want to thank you guys for jumping on, for doing this. And is there anything else you want to mention before we go?
No, just thanks for including me. I appreciate it.
No problem, guys. It's good to have you both on. I didn't realize it was the first time. I mean, this is the first time you guys have been on together on the same live stream. Because cool, I'm glad to bring this all together. So
yeah, it was an honor.
Cool, guys.
Thank
Great seeing your collections. As always, subscribe to the president, subscribe to Aaron, and we'll catch you the next time. Take care, everybody.